Sage Wanderer coming at you from my van down by the river. So if you've been paying attention, you know that Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, just recently came out with a long public press conference, which essentially was an indictment against the nation of Iran, accusing them of violating international treaties and laws by putting together a nuclear weapons program secretly and behind the scenes. And even though they had vowed to not have a nuclear weapons program and made a deal with Barack Obama to not engage in this activity, according to Netanyahu and the Israelis, they violated it in spirit and by the letter of the agreement multiple times before, during, and since the agreement, and that they never have come clean about what they actually have or don't have. And if you remember, when we cut this deal with Iran before, Netanyahu did a similar presentation where he said that the Iran deal was a bad deal for everyone, especially for America, which is what Trump has said, that it's a bad deal for America. So is Netanyahu putting out this information to convince Donald Trump that, and the American people, that we should renegotiate the Iran deal and hold Iran accountable for their weapons program and demand access and renegotiate the entire Iran deal? Is that why he came out and did what he did? Could be. That's part of it. But also there's some other things going on, that Iran and Israel have been fighting a proxy war against each other in secret in Syria, and that even before we hit them with cruise missiles, the Israelis have been doing secret night raids in under the cover of darkness, hitting strategic targets from the air with their aircraft, and that this was going on before we hit Syria with cruise missiles, before the chemical attack. This was happening during the waiting period, and it's happened recently since. It happens almost every night that the Israelis are hitting key targets in Syria. And if you do a little research, you find out that these key targets are where the Iranian advisors and Iranian support troops are located. So any place an Iranian is on the ground in Syria is a target for Israel. So there's already this kind of secret war going on. I believe that all of this this Netanyahu press conference was to try to convince the American people, it's why he spoke in English, that, Iran's bad and that we should go to war with Iran. Now, there's some other elements here that you need to understand. That the Muslims that were responsible, supposedly, for 9/11 were of the Wahhabi sort. That most of these radical Islamic terrorists are Wahhabis, and that is related closely with Saudi Arabia. And Trump went to Saudi Arabia to lay down the law to them. There's the famous picture of them standing with their hands on the weird globe thing. And then you saw this civil war, this quiet kind of coup occur, and this mass arrests and killings happening in Saudi Arabia, because Donald Trump went to them and went, look, stop what you're doing. And he basically made a new agreement with Saudi Arabia. And they're denouncing terrorism. They are definitely the enemies of Iran, because Iran are Shias. They're Persian. They're not Arab. They're Shias. And the Shias and the Sunnis, or Shias and the Wahhabists, are arch enemies. And that, according to their own plans, once they join together and wipe out all the rest of the world and there's nothing but them left, then they're going to fight it out with each other for dominance. And so there seems to be this weird coalition an agreement between Saudi Arabia and Israel, that they're actually working together now against Iran. And so I'm thinking what we're seeing is this military-industrial complex plan that was hatched probably even before 9/11 to strategically march across the the Middle East and take out 7 countries in 5 years was the original plan, according to Wesley Clark, the retired general. So we've got this angle going. We've got Netanyahu wanting to go to war with Iran. The military-industrial complex would love to take Iran out. There's a lot of oil in Iran. Plus there's some bad blood going way back to the 70s with Iran. George W. Bush called Iran one of the axis of evil: Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. Well, we dealt with Iraq. North Korea we're dealing with now. That just leaves Iran. So it looks to me like they are definitely in the target, in the crosshairs of the globalists. I hope that Donald Trump can see past all of this, see through all of this skullduggery and all of these backdoor deals and all of this globalist intentions, to the truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter, as I see it, is that it does not benefit the United States of America to involve ourselves in foreign struggles, that these civil wars, that these wars for power, that these movements of chess pieces on the globe really have nothing to do with us, and we need to back away from them and spend time fixing America. America is broken. Let these other countries fend for themselves. We have an ocean to protect us. Put our military in a circle around us and let us heal ourselves. We are nation building in other parts of the world. We are trying to tell the other parts of the world how to live when we ourselves are falling apart. Our own country is falling apart. We need to spend our time, our resources, our energy, and our focus on our own nation, in healing our land and rebuilding our economy and making America great again. God save our republic.